Welcome to LeTourneau University. Thank you for your interest in our dual credit program. My name is Nathan, and today I want to help walk you through the process of completing your dual credit application so you can get started with dual credit at LeTourneau. Big picture, there are 5 major steps, and we're going to take a look at each one so you can know exactly what to expect. They are, in order, number 1, accessing the application. Number 2, creating your dual enroll account. Number 3, filling out the application. Number 4, signing up for courses. And number 5, completing remaining tasks. So if you're ready to jump in with me, you can follow along in your web browser while you've got this video playing. It's totally fine if you need to pause the video or replay sections to catch up, because I can go kind of fast, so just putting that out there. Also, if you're a parent, we love that you're involved. We encourage students to fill out this application themselves for a couple of reasons. One is that there are a few sections of the application that are legally required for the student to make selections. And another reason is that going through the process of applying and signing up for classes is an important way for students to take ownership of their pursuit of college credit. And parents are welcome to be present and support as much as they would like. Sound good? All right, let's dive in. So first thing to know, let me define a few terms. We're going to be working with 2 systems. The first one is called dual enroll, and that's where you'll fill out the dual credit application. Once that process is done and you become a student, you'll switch to using My LETU, the site that all LeTourneau students use during their time here. And that's where you'll pay your bill, confirm textbook options, and other logistical tasks, all right? So we'll start in dual enroll, and then we'll move over to My LETU when we're done with the application. So let's start at step 1, accessing the application. Go ahead and open a web browser and go to letu.edu/dual-credit. That may be where you're watching this video to begin with, and if so, great, step 1 is done. On the dual credit page in the right sidebar, choose the New Students button. That will take you to dual enroll. If you need to come back to the application later, you can go straight there by going to letu.dualenroll.com. But I took you to the dual credit webpage on our university site first, because there's some other resources and information on that page you'll want to be able to access later. So if you like keeping bookmarks, you could bookmark letu.edu/dual-credit as well as letu.dualenroll.com. Making sense? All right, so now we're at step 2, creating your dual enroll account. Back on the dual enroll site, we're going to choose the Create My Account button on the right. The first thing you'll do on this page is select your high school from the drop-down list. If you're a student at one of our partner high schools or co-ops, choose your school from the list. Some of them have similar names to each other, so just make sure to double check your choice. If you're homeschooled and don't take classes through a co-op, you should choose homeschooled at the bottom of the list. And if you're not homeschooled and you don't go to one of our partner schools, pick non-partner high school. So again, if your school's on the list, pick that. If you're homeschooled but don't go to a co-op, pick homeschooled. And if you're not homeschooled and your high school isn't on the list, pick non-partner high school, all right? So next you'll create a login and password. I recommend making the username your first and last name, all lowercase, because that's how your account in My LETU is going to work later, and that'll just be one less thing that you have to remember. Whatever you choose for your username and password, store the information in a secure location that you'll remember so you can get back into this account in the future. All right, after that, put in your name and your date of birth, then email and phone number for us to be able to reach you. It's really important on that last part that the contact info be the students, not the parents, okay? So after that, check the box that says, I am not a robot, unless you are a robot, and we'll continue on to the next page. The next thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna get a verification text message sent to the phone number that you entered. Put that code into the spot on the page to verify your phone number, and you'll be done with step 2. If you need to take a break at any time, that's totally fine. Just pause the video and come back later. When you do, you can use the new account you just made to log back in at the dual enroll site. Okay, step 3, filling out the application. On your dual enroll dashboard, we're going to start with the profile tab at the top. You'll see a number of steps in the right sidebar, and we're just going to take them one step at a time. First is the account page. You shouldn't need to do anything here because you already made your account, but if you ever need to change any of this information, this is where you would go. Next, though, is the student profile page. Fill out the basic info on this page, and then at the bottom, enter your social security number. That last part's actually optional. We don't need your social security number unless you want an IRS form sent to you at the end of the year for filing your taxes. Finally, pick the semester that you plan to start taking classes at LeTourneau, then hit the update button. The next page is the student demographics page. Select whether you are a U.S. citizen, and in the next visa question, if you are a citizen, choose blank, not applicable, and if you're not a citizen, then choose the visa status that applies to you. Finally, fill out the last 2 demographic questions at the bottom of the page and press Update button. Moving right along, the next page is Terms and Conditions. Joining the LeTourneau community can be exciting and inspiring, and it comes with a new level of privileges and responsibilities. So this part of the application outlines how that takes shape and what we ask all LeTourneau students to agree to as part of our commitment to a flourishing academic community. Make sure you read and understand the policies set out in the links provided, and when you're ready, complete the agreement at the bottom of the page and press Update. The next page is FERPA disclosure. So FERPA is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. This is a very important step for students and families to understand. By federal law, your choice on this page determines who has access to your academic information and records. And I'm talking to students specifically here. If you want your parents to have access to your LETU records, you need to choose one of the options which consents to that information being released to them and enter their name and relationship to you in the fields below. The financial information section works the same way. You can grant permission to specific people to have access to your financial records if you choose that option and enter their information below. Please just know if you choose the Do Not Disclose option, your parents cannot get information on your account if they call LeTourneau. Once you've made your selections, check the checkbox that says I agree to the FERPA waiver and press the Update button. Okay, next up, we have the parent information page. Press the Add button, and from there you can add your parent or guardian contact and address information so we can have it for our records. When you've got that in, press the Update button. And as a side note, be sure to tell your parent or guardian to be on the lookout for an email from Dual Enroll asking them for parent consent so that you can participate in our dual credit program. Your application will not be considered complete unless your parent or guardian responds to that email. All right, so now let's head to the high school page. And here we're going to do a few more things. First, if you entered your high school incorrectly when you were making your account, you can change it now. Next, enter your class level, either freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, and your high school start year and expected graduation year. Lastly, on this page, for the part that says name of approver and recommender, your answer will be different depending on whether you attend one of our partner schools or not. If you are a student at a partner school, this approver/recommender should be your academic advisor or counselor who you work with to manage your schedule. If you're not a student at one of our partner schools, put the information for your parent instead. Whoever you put here on this page will receive an email asking them to approve your course selection for dual credit at LeTourneau. Once you're done here, press the Update button, you know how it goes, and we will move on. We actually don't need to do anything on the academics or documents tabs. That's just for school administrators to use. The only exception has to do with your high school transcripts on the documents page, and you only need to provide them in a few cases. So here's how it works. I'll break it down. If you attend a partner school that verifies your GPA, you don't need to submit a transcript. You're good. However, some of our partnerships do require your parent to submit your transcript. If that applies to your situation, your parent will receive an email requesting that they upload a transcript for you. And if you're a student at a non-partner high school or you are homeschooled, then the person you listed as your approver, recommender in the last step will get that email asking them to upload your transcripts. Okay? You can't add your own transcripts. It needs to be one of those people listed above. It's okay if you need to rewatch that section, back up the video a little bit and watch that to figure it out again. Now we have reached the end of the application information. Give yourself a high five, take a break if you need it, and when you're ready, come on back and we'll finish off these last 2 steps. All right, step 4, signing up for courses. This part is super easy, so you're actually pretty close to being done. Let's go to the Courses tab in Dual Enroll. So we were on the Profile page, now we're on the Courses page. And that's the second tab up at the yellow section. After Profile. And on this page, you're going to see a listing of all the LeTourneau classes available for registration across all our locations and all of our formats. If you know exactly what course you're looking for, awesome. You can scroll down and find it in the list and click on the name of the class. If you need to find the class, though, there's also some search tools on the left. You can filter the list to only show certain types of classes or only classes on certain days, and you can search for a keyword for the name of the class. Or for this example, I'm going to search for chemistry. So let's do that now. Chemistry. And we're going to see there are 7 different chemistry classes. Let's pick General Chemistry 1. And this will tell us the most important info about the class. We've got the course number, we've got how many credits it is. The green pillar symbol means that it's an on-campus college class. Then there's the instructor, the location. This one's at our Longview campus, and it's finally when the class meets and start and end dates. We've got that here on days and times and start and end date. If this is the class you want, all you would need to do is press the register button. Mine says registering because I used this as an example before, but yours will say register. Press that button on the right. That will take you to a status page and show a pop-up that gives you the option to either select another course or view your status, which actually segues really nicely into the final step of this application process in Dual Enroll, and that's completing remaining tasks. But before we do that, real quick, there's just a few more things I want to tell you about selecting courses. So if we hit register, it would take us here, and instead of view status, I'm going to click on select another course. And we'll go back to that screen for just a minute. So what happens if you click a class and you see there's like 7 options? What does that mean? Which one should you choose? If you're trying to figure out which one to choose, if there's multiple listings for the same class, that just means there are multiple sections of that class. In other words, there's more than one of the same class being taught because of how many students we accommodate. So you can choose any of the options, you can't get it wrong. Another thing that can help you find the course you're looking for is filtering with the cap icon in the high school section. This will show you only classes that are specific to your partner school. So depending on which school you're from, this list will look different to you. That's a pretty common thing that our students do. And if you're homeschool or non-partner school student looking for online classes, you've got the laptop icon, the online filter, to show all of our online classes. And just so you know, all our online classes are asynchronous. That means there's no set time of day or specific day even that the classes take place. So if you're wondering why you can't see that information, that's why. They're asynchronous. Now, if you want to register for more classes, you can do that now. But if you're done, you can always come back later. But if you're done for now, you can go to the status page at the top. So that's the 3rd tab. Now we're at step 5, completing remaining tasks. Last step. And here on this page, you're going to see some things. You're going to maybe ask the question, what's left? Is there anything else I need to do before my application is completely done and confirmed? Let's hit the view status button and you'll see what I'm talking about. So you'll see for me in this test account that I've made, there's a few things on the list. For financial principles of financial accounting, there's a step on the right that says pending completion of per term steps. What does that mean? Well, it means there's a step missing in my application, which you can see a couple rows down because it says tasks for the term spring 2022. And then on the right, there's 2 steps left. My parent needs to provide consent, and the approver recommender, remember that's the high school counselor we talked about before, or your parent, if you're not at a partner school, they need to upload your transcript. So this status page can tell you exactly what's left for you to do before you're totally done and good to go. All right, thank you so much for sticking with me through that process. I know that was a lot of steps, but hopefully it wasn't too difficult to follow along. Once you've gotten everything taken care of in that status page, you're gonna get a message telling you that your application is confirmed. That means you will be done with Dual Enroll and you will receive an email from LeTourneau University confirming your acceptance to our program. That email will also come with instructions on how to set up your My LETU account. And remember, that's gonna be your new student portal that you use while you're enrolled at LeTourneau. And that's gonna be it for this video. Just a sneak peek at what's coming up next. In the next video, I'm gonna introduce you to My LETU and show you how to do the 2 most important things that you'll wanna know how to do as a student, as a dual credit student. And that's choosing your textbook options and paying your student accounts bill. So watch for that video headed your way after you reach confirmation. And until then, check out this other video we put together on the top resources for LeTourneau students that you can take advantage of. Some of them apply to online students, while some of the resources are for people at our Longview campus. But no matter what your situation is, there's something for everyone that can help make your time as a LeTourneau student even better. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was a helpful resource to you. I want to welcome you again to our community of builders and to LeTourneau University. I'll see you in the next one.